What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. And with me tonight is the Dante and Randall to my Veronica. It's Casey and Garrett. What's up, guys?
Not much. Nothing, man. What's up with you?
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Garrett, you doing all right?
I'm doing all right. You brought me here the perfect time to talk about the comic where Batman pees his pants.
Yes.
Very excited that you included me in this.
Of course. You were the only person that came to mind. Uh, I was
Honored.
I was doing some inventory at my shop earlier this year, and um, I got to the Batman section and the Widening Gyre was there. And I was like, I need to do like a full read of Cacophony and this. And who better to chat with than the biggest Kevin Smith fan I know, which
Oh,
is Garrett.
shucks.
So here we are. It's been a few months in the making, but we made it. So for those that don't know, Garrett is a friend of mine. He and I met at SIU in Carbondale. He was doing a weekly stand-up comedy uh club, I guess is what you'd call it, right?
Maybe. I don't know. It was a bar attached to a hotel.
Yeah. That's good enough for a club. Uh, I was there every week to record for my friend Eric, but then even the nights that Eric didn't perform, I just thought that most of the people that performed were so funny that I ended up going anyway. And and I thought Garrett was fucking hysterical. And I've got a pretty embarrassing story regarding that.
Oh shit.
Um,
Embarrassing for me or you?
no, for me, for me.
Okay.
I recorded for Eric, but then I started recording your sets too because I was like, well, fuck, Garrett's so funny. And I remember I went to a friend's house on the weekend and I was like, I'm gonna bring them this recording that I thought was so funny this week, and I'm just gonna play it for the room. And and so I'm sitting there like laughing at everything you're saying, but I was the only one laughing. And I quickly realized that like, oh, maybe not everybody thinks that this is funny like I do, because I'm just dying and they're there to like hang out and chat. And I'm like, no, guys, be quiet, watch this. It's really funny. You're gonna love it. So,
So
you
that
know,
did in turn end up being embarrassing for me just now, actually, because
Yeah.
the I it turns out I'm not for the masses. I'm for Jake.
Yeah,
no,
you're
no, no,
you're
no, no.
you're Jake's favorite comedian.
Yes, you're my
Yeah.
favorite comedian. But shame on them for not finding it funny. They're the ones in the wrong, not me.
And you're not friends with those people anymore.
You're damn right I'm not.
Yeah, they're
I
not
hope
on the
someone.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are my only friends. Um, but anyway, I introduced myself to Garrett after one of those shows. Turns out we both love shitty action movies, punk and various pop punk music, and Jason Statham. So, you know, I've loved all of his creative endeavors over the years. His most recent being a very, very funny and fun podcast called The Erotic Thriller Club. I'll let him talk about that later. But anyway, Garrett, it's just, you know, I love you, buddy, and I'm glad that you're finally here to do something with me.
Oh, I'm blushing. Thank you, pal. No, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to do this, and thanks for the kind words.
Of course. But we'll start off with a couple of bits of news. It's it's always bad when we have a guest on and there's just like not a lot of news that week, because
Yeah.
like, oh, we'll talk about news and then we have one or two just really shitty things. It's one of those weeks, but Casey, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so I just saw that like the Penguin showrunners confirmed that there's gonna be no Battinson in the Penguin show, so which I'm like, I don't know, I don't really get because it's like who's really gonna just want to be like, I just want Penguin, please. No Batman in this Matt Reeves universe stuff. Like, what's he doing? That he's gonna be so busy that he can't be stopping the crime that's happening, you know? So I'm not.
Yeah,
Are you
I
that
saying
don't know.
Pattinson doesn't have any? He doesn't have
Well,
anything going on,
well,
or
no, I'm just
Batman?
saying Batman because it's like he lives in Gotham. He's not going to be taking a vacation.
Well, I
well,
mean, we'll get to it in a bit, but
Yeah,
I mean, we see he does occasionally
yeah,
pop
he
out
shouldn't, and then he
for
finds
some
out he
smooching.
shouldn't. Spoiler alert.
so remind me that this show takes place after the
Yeah,
Batman
it's gonna
movie.
the way I've understood it is it's supposed to be basically like Penguin. There's probably gonna be flashbacks, but a lot of it's Penguin like since he was kind of low level in the Batman movie, he kind of takes like the main spot as like the head of the crime family shit. But
Yeah, so why would Batman appear?
yeah, right?
Did you, Garrett, did you see the Batman movie?
Yeah, I'm a huge Pattinson guy. Like, genuinely one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
He is so good in The Lighthouse and A Good Time. And honestly, I'll admit, I like the Twilight movies.
Yeah,
Uh,
same.
and don't be mean to me in the comment section about it. But no, I liked Pattinson. It was the only Batman movie though where I wanted to see more of Bruce Wayne, and they covered him up.
Yeah,
But
that was my like one of my main knocks on his performance because like I liked him as Batman, but his Bruce Wayne was just kind of like the little bit that we saw was just like, oh yeah, you're just not wearing the cowl. You're doing the same shit though, bud.
I guess though, if he were playing like a cooler Batman, he was like the Connor Oberst Bright Eyes Batman, and I don't really want to see him doing the smooching I saw Batman do in The Widening Gyre. But you would think like that movie didn't end with him just being like, and then he went away for 8 months,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like he's just lives there now. Where's
Yeah,
he at?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to think that they'll explain it well, but who
Yeah.
knows? But really, I am excited for that show because, Colin Farrell is awesome as the Penguin. So,
Yeah. Colin Farrell was awesome and the world's pretty cool. And it's like it's one of those things where I would eat that up normally, but like Batman kind of needs to at least, they need a reason for him not to be doing anything.
mhm.
Do you think that you guys are just so scarred from the Spider-Man villain universe that Sony provided you with that you don't trust DC?
I
Well,
mean, I trust DC about as much as Sony, but at least like this is all Matt Reeves. This is all Matt Reeves shit. So it's like he's got a plan. If it was just the regular DC stuff, I'd be like, oh, you haven't done well yet, guys.
yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, I went to the theaters for Madam Web, so like it's not going to be worse than that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
unless it's the Flash again.
I'll be honest, my feelings were pretty hurt when you guys didn't invite me on to talk Madam Web.
yeah, I know, dude. The next time there's one of that caliber, which might be coming up
It's
soon because we've
Craven.
got Craven the
Yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah, maybe we can do a retrospective of the greatest superhero trilogy of all time, the Morbius, Madam Web, Craven the Hunter, and then we end it with a montage set to Time of Your Life by Green Day.
Dude, can you imagine one of those like is it AMC that does the special events where they're like, come see the Dark Knight trilogy, but they
Oh
do it for
yeah.
those three movies? It's like, Jesus Christ, who would go to that?
Us.
Us, yeah, I know. I know.
I saw Madam Web twice in theaters, only in premium formats. Uh, saw it in the
Wow.
jiggle seats, saw it in IMAX because I didn't believe what I had just watched.
Oh shit, that's great.
I do have to ask you guys with that because I did listen to your Madam Web episode, and one thing that didn't get mentioned is how much of an alien she looks like anytime she's handling a soda can.
I didn't
I
notice
didn't
that.
notice.
You know how, like in 30 Rock, Alec Baldwin holds the two coffee mugs because he doesn't know what to do with his hands?
Yeah,
She seriously just circles the tab every time she holds a soda can, and it's insane. It is insane. I
dude.
don't
I
know
need to
what is
rewatch
happening.
it so I
Yeah,
can see
you're gonna
that.
make me rewatch Madam Web just to see that. I did not pick that up.
The bad guy's never wearing shoes out in public, but when he becomes the villain, he is wearing shoes. Why? Sorry, I'll stop. This isn't Madam Web hour. We'll save it for Craven.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I saw that first trailer or teaser, whatever it was for Craven. I was just like, oh my God, this might be worse, you know? And
Hmm.
I didn't think they could do it. So
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
will.
be. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to Craven at all.
I know, but you hate uh Aaron Taylor Johnson no matter what he
Yeah,
does.
not no matter what. Like I thought he was fine as Kick-Ass. I'll say that. So I
Mhm.
mean, but yeah, he's just boring.
He's perfect for this universe.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
It's
he's going to excel at being Craven, shitty Craven. You
yeah,
don't look at this as a Craven you've ever enjoyed. Look at this
Right.
as a different entity altogether.
yeah. This is the Timu Craven.
I did walk into like as the trailer was playing when I walked into Alien Romulus. I didn't know what trailer was already in progress and thought to myself, "Damn, what is this? This looks pretty cool." And then when it said Craven, I blushed. Like, I got a little embarrassed for myself. No,
I
I
mean,
can't wait.
they know how to make trailers, you know?
Hmm.
They excel at that, but then you sit down to watch it and it's just like, what the fuck? What am I watching? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, and so Jake, this will make you excited. Ian McKellen might return as Gandalf. I actually have a quote here. So he's revealed that he's been approached to play Gandalf again, and that he is open to returning. The actor told the Big Issue, enthusiasm for the Lord of the Rings shows no sign of abating. I can't tell you any more than that. I've just been told there are going to be more films and Gandalf will be involved, and they hope that I'll be playing them.
I wonder if that's for the that Aragorn movie that they're talking about.
I don't remember anything about an Aragorn movie. I remember the
Or
Golem.
the yeah, but sorry, that's what I meant. Like
Oh,
he's
okay.
supposed like rumored to be featured in that too, The Hunt for
Okay.
Gollum. So I mean, dude, you know how much I fucking love Lord of the Rings more than anything. So that does make me very happy. And I hope that that whatever that Gollum movie turns out to be, that they are able to get Vigo back for it too. I don't know how it'll make sense, but you know, I just want to see those guys in those roles again.
Yeah. Now, I got a question. Does Gandalf like age in Lord of the Rings? Like, was there ever a young, handsome Gandalf, or was he always just old Ian McKellen?
Um, I believe he was always just old. I mean, he's part of the Valinor, which is just their gods, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's just been around for so long that I don't think anyone knows of a time when he was young.
Yeah. So they could do like a prequel where it's just Ian McKellen, old ass Ian McKellen being like, "Oh, I'm actually only 200 in
Yeah,
this episode, in this
yeah,
movie
why
instead
not?
of the 2000-year-old that I was in Lord of the Rings or whatever."
Right. And you
He's
know,
the
he
Steve Martin of Middle Earth.
yeah,
He
Yeah.
just has
exactly.
looked the same age forever.
And you know, as not great as the Hobbit movies were, I'm Casey, I know you disagree, but I really don't think he looked that much older because of makeup and stuff than he did in Lord of the Rings. So
I
I think they could do
mean,
it.
so I only watched the first Hobbit, like we've talked about before, but the um the X-Men movies where I'm like where he like Days of Futures Past, I'm like, okay, buddy, this is getting sad. I don't like it.
Yeah. He's like that old dog that you know you got to put
Yeah.
down soon, but you don't want to.
Like same with Patrick Stewart, both of them. I'm just like, guys, I love both of you so much, and you're so good like you're great actors, but you don't need to do action scenes anymore, guys.
Yeah.
They have both been sirred, and you're going to talk to them like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You
I like
can't keep a good
Friends.
sir down. There's going to be sirring. Leave them alone.
Yeah. They've earned it.
Okay, and then the last bit of news I got, this just popped up today, but Josh Brolin has been allegedly offered to play Hal Jordan in the upcoming Green Lantern show.
He's too old.
So that, I mean, I agree, but here's the logic that someone said online, and I'm like, the logic checks out. He's 57, I think. Nathan Fillion's 53. Nathan Fillion's playing the second Green Lantern. So then Brolin would be the first. So it's like makes sense that he'd be older. All it really tells me is like they should have got a younger guy to play Guy also.
I mean, we've said it 100 times on this show. We wanted Nathan Fillion. I
Like
mean, I
20 years
know,
ago.
yeah, like 20 years ago, but still, that's who we wanted for Hal Jordan. So I don't know, man.
But Nathan Fillion is in the show
No, he's
as
gonna be
someone
in
else.
this. He's gonna be in the Superman movie as Guy Gardner.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you know, the redhead bowl cut Green
Yeah.
Lantern. That's Nathan Fillion, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that show in general. Um, I kind of I just want to get to Superman, see how that turns out, and judge, James Gunn's DC universe on that.
Yeah. Well, like one of the things too, though, is like the way James is making it sound, which I think is the right way of doing things. It's like the other stuff's gonna be the other guys' thing. Like he'll look it over and won't let them do anything too stupid, but it's not gonna be as hands-on as like Marvel was doing shit.
Well, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah. So I just I'm just like, man, the last DC thing, we didn't get any Green Lantern, and then before that we had the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. It's like I have a feeling Green Lantern fans are still gonna be starving by the end of this run of shit.
Yeah, maybe. Um, I don't know. I guess it also really just depends on the showrunner and everything like that, because
Yeah.
not being as hands-on as Disney and Marvel is good. We were so excited for Ant-Man by the guy I cannot think of right
Edgar Wright.
now. Edgar Wright, thank you. We were so excited to see Edgar Wright make an Ant-Man movie, and they were so hands-on that he left. And it's like, fuck, what could we have
Yeah.
gotten,
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly why I don't get excited when any of my favorite filmmakers find themselves over there. The only one that really did thrive was James Gunn. Like you could still kind of feel like, did you guys watch Slither and Super?
Yeah.
Like those movies are so good. And you could still feel his humor within the script and everything. So I don't know. Like I actually think that sounds kind of awesome if he's going to let filmmakers just do their
No,
job.
I 100% agree with you. That sounds awesome, and I think it should work. But I'm just like, I just want better Green Lantern shit than what it sounds like we're gonna be getting. Like I'm just like so nervous about that show because one, it's like the budget that a Green Lantern thing needs as a TV show is not ideal. I mean, we've seen CW special effects. I have a feeling that's gonna be close to what we get for Green Lantern. And then, we got Tom King writing it, so it's gonna be a lot of Hal Jordan's trauma from the military will get, brought up, and then
Yeah, but it's gonna
yeah.
be a bummer.
So it's like, man, it's like Damon Lindelof. All of my hope lies in you.
Wait, is he working on it?
Yeah, it's like he's not the showrunner, but he's like one of the head writers.
I like Lindelof.
Me too.
Like I'm yeah, no, that give it a chance.
I'm
We'll wait and see. And
yeah.
if it ends up being that sad military show you just told me about, probably sit it out. But
Yeah, I mean, everybody listening knows that we'll give it a shot, no matter
Yeah.
what dog shit they put in front of us. All right, that wraps up the news. So, Garrett, let's dive into just how you are with comic books and some of your favorites. So, the first thing, do you remember the first comic that you ever read?
man, I don't know if I remember specifically the first comic, but I have some memories of specific comic books. Like I definitely remember early, like some X-Men, Like a lot of the comics I was buying were just what was ever on the rack at the grocery store
Mhm.
in the early 90s.
Sure.
But I do remember getting very into Daredevil and the Punisher. And I think the Punisher was because of his, like him being in the Spider-Man comics
Okay.
occasionally. So those are really the earliest. But honestly, like back then, I wasn't even getting to read full runs of things. You know, I was a little kid going with my mom, picking out a couple comic books that had cool covers and getting like number 3 of 6
Yeah.
of a story. So I mean that's definitely where it started, and it kind of evolved over the years. I think like as I got older, my comic book selections got hornier. Um, like
What's an example? What's a horny
Wit-
one?
Witchblade.
Oh, sure. Sure.
I owned a bunch of those comics. I couldn't tell you what that was about. Like junior high, the fact that my mom was letting me walk out of there holding a stack of witchblades, like not even consecutively numbered, like reading a story. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Those that I would not have guessed out of all the comics, but
you guys talking about being disappointed in this Green Lantern show. Think about how disappointed horny little Garrett was at that TNT Witchblade show, that live action fully clothed lady with the
yeah.
the weird glove.
Like, come on, where are
No,
the boobs?
if it only had been made for USA's Up All Night, if anyone remembers that.
All right.
Sorry.
So do you have like a just a favorite? It can be a comic or a trade paperback, but just a favorite comic book story.
Man, like I really got more into comics like as I got into college, and it was things like Dark Knight Returns and that Alan Moore run on Swamp Thing like really
Sure.
pulled me in. I really love that. I love emo Swamp Thing. I think like when I get emo, I think about doing what Swamp Thing did, realizing you're not a man. You're just the essence of a man trapped in some moss. Go out into the woods and just become the ground.
Right.
There's nothing sadder than that. Loved that. I don't know, like Astonishing X-Men was super fun. That was one that like brought me back into buying like week to week issues in
Okay.
college. But yeah, those were some of my favorites
Was
back then.
that the Joss Whedon one?
It was.
Okay. Okay, I thought so. I never read that. I've not really read a lot of X-Men up until recently, but I always remembered seeing his name on comics and thinking, "Oh man, the guy that wrote Firefly and Buffy, so cool." And then not picking it up. Um
The first couple trades being pretty good on that. I don't remember where it went after that, but the first two at least were like good enough that I dove into other comics, like whatever run of She-Hulk was happening then was super funny, and X-23, and those are kind of the main ones I remember.
sure. No, I hear that that I think most X-Men fans that have read that really enjoy his stuff.
Yeah, I think that was like a really good time for X-Men fans because I think the Joss Whedon one came out then like shortly after or before the Grant Morrison, like then that Grant Morrison run too. So it was
Hmm.
like X-Men fans were eating good then.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, favorite superhero.
For the longest time, it was Daredevil. I
Hmm.
don't even really have a good reason for it other than like, do you remember when Marvel, I don't even know if they still do this. Do they still put out like paperback novels of characters?
If they do, it's mostly like an adaptation of the film that came out for whoever.
In the third grade, I somehow ended up with this like pretty adult, just paperback novel of Daredevil. And I don't remember how. I loved it and fell in love with Daredevil from there. It's hard to say Punisher because there's so much weirdness around. I wouldn't even say fans of Punisher. I'd say fans of the logo in the back of trucks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I promise you, if they have that logo on the back of their truck, they have never read a fucking comic book. I promise.
They definitely beat up somebody who did used to read comic books, though. um, no, I'll go Daredevil. I think I will. Or it's Batman. Like for the longest time, like I mean, Batman followed us forever with the animated series, and then as you get older, those like R-rated cartoons they've been putting out for the last decade, those are
Yeah.
amazing. So I don't think I could follow like a Batman book right now, but I don't know. I'll go Daredevil.
Yeah, no, that's a great choice. You
Yeah.
don't need a reason to like Daredevil because pretty much any point uh in time in his comics, like there's fans of whatever was happening at that time. Like the 90s is an easy go-to for a lot of bad comics or if a certain writer takes it over, but even writers that I don't care for that have written Daredevil, people are like, no, 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 this was when they were good. So
Yeah.
I think that's a totally fair answer. Okay. You watch a lot of movies, and I know that you
Mm.
and I have talked about this before, but for the sake of the podcast, what is your favorite comic book movie?
Punisher Warzone. It
Yep.
doesn't get it like it my love of cheesy action movies and the Punisher. That's just a fun Punisher. And the backstory of that movie, like if you haven't seen Punisher Warzone, go in with the right mindset. It's not the best movie ever made, but it's fucking insane. Like they paid that guy to have a personal trainer, get fit. He didn't do it. He showed up to set fat as shit. So they had to put him in this like big bulky costume to cover his whole body. You've got Jigsaw, who has the most insane accent ever. And like all I can think of is lines like, the name ain't Billy no more. It's Jigsaw now.
Oh man.
Um, I mean, he blows up a parkour guy with a rocket launcher. The movie opens with him cutting a woman's head off with a knife, like clean off. um, there's just that movie is too much fun. If I have to give a real answer of like a respected movie, give me a minute.
Sure, sure. No, no. I mean, your answer can be whatever.
No, I'm keeping Punisher Warzone, and you can't take it from me.
No, that and nor would I. I I definitely watched that movie not recently, but like when it came out and when it came out on DVD, I remember watching it more than once just because of how crazy it was and I was just consuming any action movie at that time. So, yeah, I mean, that scene where there's like a mob dinner or something, so he cuts the lights and then all the light you get is from like the muzzle flash. That scene's fucking awesome.
Lexi Alexander that made that movie is a legitimately amazing filmmaker, and it she did the movie Green Street Hooligans as well with Elijah Wood, and it really sucks that she didn't have just this insanely storied action career following that movie because it's so fun.
Did did Punisher Warzone like ruin her career at all?
No, I think it she's kind of outspoken politically,
Oh, okay.
and I on Twitter, and I think that didn't I don't think people loved that. I think that was hard for like studio people to deal with because I don't think she like gave people problems on sets or anything. I don't know. I just she seemed like a lovely person. I met her at Patton Oswalt did a screening at the New Bev in Los Angeles and had her and they did a Q&A after and she seemed like a lovely person.
Nice. Do you ever miss like getting to do stuff like that?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, I also like I worked at Warner Brothers for a couple years as a tour guide. So I every single day I was looking at all of the Batmobiles multiple times.
Yeah.
If you're wondering, when I was alone, did I climb in a couple of them? Yes, of course. Yes, yes, I did. I don't know. I do. I miss being out there. Like that those types of screenings, getting to hear from the filmmakers, and then also just I don't know. I was never gonna get sick of looking at that Catwoman suit. Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman was my first crush.
God, dude, and that is extremely justified. She looked
Yep.
great.
My
That-
parents, I don't know how this happened, but I had a life-size cardboard cutout of her from that movie the year that it came out in my room. And I don't know why this like bondage looking lady was allowed in my room. But once again, Witchblade down the road. So
yeah.
the Erotic Thriller Club podcast makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. Whenever
So
whenever you got to sit in all those Batmobiles, did you have a favorite? Like, was there one that was just way cooler on the inside than the others?
Keaton. I mean, the Keaton one's just that was my Batman growing up. I watched that
Sure.
movie so many times. The Tumbler's really cool to look at,
Hmm.
but yeah, the Keaton one was absolutely my favorite.
Nice.
Or the Adam West one was pretty cool too.
Nice. All right. Well, shall we talk about some
Hmm,
Kevin Smith Batman comics?
please.
So it's funny because I read Cacophony earlier in the week, and I texted Casey something along the lines of, well, I finished Cacophony. I hope Widening Gyre's better. um, but let's see if it did get better. So we've got Batman Cacophony, which is written by Kevin Smith, and the art is done by Walt Flanagan. Um, I so I guess I'll obviously you had read it before, Garrett. Do you remember like when you read it for the first time? Like, did you have to come back to this for a refresher? Anything
Oh
like
yeah.
that?
I mean I have both trades and these were purchased when they came out.
Okay.
So I had not read them since.
Okay.
I feel like I remembered little bits and pieces of both. Like you're never gonna forget Batman pissing his pants because so many people were mad at that. Um, but yeah, I kind of remembered Walt Flanagan's art too because it doesn't feel like a lot of other Batman comics. Like sometimes his art it's like a little gross.
Hmm.
If that like
Mhm.
it's not as like clean. Like I don't know something about it. Like everybody looks like a little more grotesque.
Except for his
Yeah.
So
poison ivy. He worked really hard on that poison ivy.
Yes, he did. And then Casey, had you read one or either before?
No, my one year my for Christmas, my brother, because he likes Kevin Smith, he got the White and Geyer, and then I was looking over his shoulder at him, and he was telling me about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'd like this.
All right. Well, Cacophony starts off at Arkham Asylum, and we get Deadshot, who breaks into the asylum because he has been paid to kill the Joker. And who shows up but the Kevin Smith original villain, Onomatopoeia. I didn't realize that he was in this book. I had read Kevin Smith's Green Arrow, which I like a lot. I think he does a very good Green Arrow. And I thought Onomatopoeia was a really unique and cool villain in that. So I was pretty excited to see him show up in this too. Um, so they have a bit of a fight, and then Onomatopoeia just puts a gun to Deadshot's head and pulls the trigger. And the funniest thing about this, you find out that Deadshot is not actually dead, but that gun was like so close. But it's like, dude,
Hmm.
even if it stops the bullet, like, how is Floyd just getting up and walking away and being like, ah, it didn't work out? You know what I mean? Like, he should be in the fucking hospital after getting shot at point blank range like that.
Well, it did knock him out at least for like a hot
Yeah,
minute.
but still, I feel
I think
like
he
that's
leaves in an ambulance, right? Like he's
Yeah.
still like I know they unzip him from the body bag and he's with still with us. But I assumed that they were still going to go check him out, like do some concussion protocol on that guy.
yeah, I don't know. I just maybe it's just because I just feel like I would be a gigantic baby in that situation. Like I'd be out for a month. Um,
You're getting close to my favorite dialogue in this whole book. It gets real filthy, like right up top.
Dude, right
Yeah.
away it does.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, please. So Onomatopoeia is offering, he opens a suitcase of money to the Joker, and the Joker thinks he wants to have sex with him naturally. And I believe he starts to unzip his pants and says something to the effect of, just so you know, I bottom from the top.
Yes, he does say that.
That'll never leave my brain ever again.
No, okay, so this was kind of the start of like, oh, I don't know if this is for me personally. Because like not too long ago, Casey and I did another guest special where we did The Killing Joke. Have you read The Killing Joke, Garrett?
I have. It's been a while. I think more recently I saw the cartoon they did of it.
Okay. Well, that is like, I think the best that the Joker has ever been written or portrayed. So like this was just such a different Joker, right? But
So,
anyway,
I mean, I'm just gonna say though, like for the most part, outside of this, Joker ready to, you know, get some action, I think this is like not a badly written Joker in my opinion. Like for the rest of this story,
sure. He
it's just it started off like low bar, then it kind of slowly went up.
I want to ask you guys a question because, like, as I'm reading this, like, as a lifelong Kevin Smith fan, I can absolutely hear his voice in a lot of this comic, which, according to the forward in this, was an issue. They
Mm,
said like
Mhm.
he was too wordy with Batman, and he ended up editing the second and third issues, and they were super delayed coming out because of rewrites. Because he did take the critic notes on that. But as I read this, it reads as a Kevin Smith piece of writing.
yeah.
When you guys are reading comic books like as frequently as you are, if there's guest writers, does it bother you if you can hear the voice of that writer and it doesn't necessarily blend in to the world that's already been established?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's because there's a lot like I mean, I'll also mention Tamaki. Like there's this writer named Mario Tamaki, and she self-inserts all the fucking time. Like it's just like, oh yeah, this has nothing to do with anything this character's ever gone through normally, and then she'll just be like, well, I only know how to write myself, so I'm gonna put myself in here and then do this crap and make the character act like how I would act. And it's like it just doesn't work half the time.
Yeah. I don't mind it if it's like an Elseworlds story, because that's outside of continuity. But it's one of those things, man, where it's just I've read so many of these, and it's like I know for the most part what they're supposed to sound like. So if they sound like something totally different, it really does kind of take you out of it. And maybe that's just me being a twat, you know? Like I'm not saying I should be like that, but it's like, well, Joker wouldn't really say that, you know what I mean? And I hate that I'm like that sometimes, but that's just how it is.
That's why, like, I wonder if stuff like this, if they're trying to sell to people like me who just enjoy him, that
Hmm.
I'm not buying comic books every week.
Mhm.
And a lot of the stuff where I am hearing him does work for me. Like, I thought that Joker is hilarious. Like, we didn't even say that after he said he bottoms from the top, that he pulls his pants down and presents and is
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he really does.
like it's I see why things changed between here and Widening Gyre. Is it
Right.
Gyre or Gyre?
I don't
What
know. Whatever
dealer's
you want.
choice.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Widening Gyre. It's
Yeah. And also after he presents, he's disappointed when Onomatopoeia leaves. Like he really wanted it.
I love it.
Um,
Has Joker ever been this sexual? Is he normally
So
is this new to
I
this?
couldn't think of a time when he
I
was.
I've not read it, so I can't speak 100%, but in Azzarello's Joker, I think he did something similar. I think I heard about that. Had a similar joke and everything where like he got a ride home and then he's like, "Well, here's your payment." He bent over and opened his butt cheeks. But that's just what I heard like on a podcast, on a Comic Find podcast, like, I don't know how many years ago. So I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah.
don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he's done that because that's one of the things I kind of picked up with these two books is like Kevin Smith took a lot of different ideas that were in, I'm just gonna say it, better Batman books throughout, So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it still works. It's just not as good.
All right. So uh we go to a scene then with Victor Zsasz, who's a serial killer. And Garrett, I think this is a really good example of Walt Flanagan making someone look a lot more grotesque than you would normally picture. Like Zaz looks very unsettling here. And also, and I wrote this down, why is he naked?
Because he's gonna when he's doing his like scar, like his counting, he's cutting his dick. That's gonna be the next one because he mentions that.
Does he really?
Yeah, because he's
Oh,
like
I
talking,
totally missed that.
no room, no space left on the canvas of my flesh. Oh, better cut
Better
carefully.
cut carefully. Holy shit. You're
Okay.
right. I didn't even process that either. And you guys didn't like this?
Well, like I'm just gonna make fun of Walt's art really quick though, because it's like, yeah, he looks creepy, but look at the kids in the photo. Like, I would just let them die.
They're
They're they're
yeah, it's
nightmare
not great.
fuel.
It's not great.
Actually, the children in this do give off a vibe that maybe the parents are insane and those are dolls.
Yeah, right.
Like they're not even
Oh,
real children.
yeah.
He might have actually put these people out of their misery.
And another very small note that I thought was funny. The first time you see the parents, there's like blood all over the sheets, and then the next scene, the blood is gone, and it's just like the stab marks. Whenever Batman's in the room looking at him.
Well, Zaz actually in the director's cut, Zaz does the laundry first, and then he comes back to it.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
He's
And
very considerate that way.
I'm not gonna nitpick every single fucking thing in the book, but I was just like, oh, where'd all the blood go? Also, I do love though that the Batman punched through the wall and then just ripped Zaz through the fucking wall like
Yeah,
that and just beats the shit out of him. And I thought that was super funny.
yeah. I love anytime Zaz gets his ass beat. So I'm like this part, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Walt is really good at drawing just a frame of a Batman sucker punch.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
really comes a lot through this.
It does. Um, all right. So yeah, then we get to Batman gets the call from Gordon about what went down in Arkham. Um, I did I got a pretty good laugh whenever Deadshot calls Batman the Great Mouse Detective. I thought that was like a really funny jab at Batman because like because immediately after that happens, Batman starts strangling him. I'm like, boy, that one cut really deep. It's like I fucking hate that movie. Um,
It is a lot of like the references like that make it feel unique to Kevin Smith. I don't remember
mhm.
Batman comics just being filled with references to so many
Mhm.
things.
That is true, and I do like that. Um, yeah, then we get a character that really is not used too much, and that's Maxie Zeus, who is just crazy and hilarious in this. What I like about this is Joker, you see this a lot. Joker doesn't like it when someone plays with his toys for lack of a better term.
Except Punchline.
Yeah, except for Punchline. Um, so Maxie Zeus is taking his laughing gas and distributing it as a new drug. And so what does Joker do but fucking blow up a building full of children? It's like, oh my God. He I don't know. And you know, the way that he talks to Zeus while he's doing all of this, I do think that he writes a good Joker whenever
Hmm.
he's not like wanting to fuck Batman or
Right.
whatever. Um, but that scene I think sets up, oh, okay, I don't know what's the way to say this. I guess what I thought I was getting with that first Joker scene in the woods and offering himself to onomatopoeia, like quickly changed to, oh, maybe it's not going to be like that because he just killed like, I don't know, however many children. So uh really liked that scene. If there's anything you guys want to add about it, feel free, because that was kind of like the first issue.
Would you
No,
guys try the Joker drug?
no.
Probably not. Just
Couple friends hanging out. We throw in Madam Web. We find your buddy just came over. He's like, I found this venom. Like somebody's brother gave it to me. I think that venom is that what they were calling it. I don't know.
yeah, I think so.
No, it's called like Chuckles, isn't it? Or something like that.
Oh,
Chuckles. Yeah,
Chuckles.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I originally it's called Venom. Um, but yeah, I don't know, Garrett. If Madam Web's involved, then you know I could be convinced.
I gotta have a sober mind for that movie.
Let's see. Oh yeah, where was it? In one of these, which again, so Joker's like cronies here are just like deformed dudes. And again, Walt is shining and on those
Hmm.
pages. Those guys are so gross. But Joker, I
Which
forget who he's talking about, but Joker talks about defiling a carcass sexually. I forget who
hmm
he was talking about there, but I was just like, Jesus Christ. Why is Joker so horny in this book?
it's weird. Like, do they normally like does DC let people get away with these kind of jokes? Because I there's no profanity, and I would even hardly say what's happening is innuendo. It's not.
I don't think so. I couldn't see. Well, so DC has an imprint called Black Label that's within the last couple of years. It might fly in that because that's like their adult line, but in general, I would say no, that the like Joker would never say this
Yeah.
nowadays.
But I mean, also now Joker is nowhere near as silly as this Joker. Even though this Joker's murdering children and stuff, he's still like the Jokers now are way more serious and they wouldn't be
Yeah,
they don't make jokes like that.
true. And it
Did you say
was,
this joke? Did you say that Joker isn't as silly as he is in this? He's murdering children. Like
Yeah.
he's murdering
Yeah.
children
He's
now, or in
murdering
this as
children.
well.
He's murdering children, but in like a funny way.
That's okay. Confirmed. I heard correctly.
and Joker was talking about Batman, like defiling Batman's carcass sexually. Um, and man, like I think one of the major points that Kevin Smith tries to get across in this book is how badly Joker just loves Batman and probably would fuck him if Batman would let him. But uh, I don't know. Like we'll get into specifics of conversations they have and whatnot throughout. I don't know if it's this book or the next one, but it's just like, my God, Joker, I think really does want Batman. Um,
At the end of this book, yeah, you definitely there is a conversation with we'll get into it, but a bearded Joker where there's kind of some great dialogue.
yeah. Oh, I've made notes about Joker's look there for sure. But anyway, continuing Joker's revenge on Maxi Zeus, he dresses up as a DJ and torches Maxie Zeus's private club or whatever. Zeus is
DJ
back in.
Batmite, right?
Yes, DJ Batmite, which is a good name. I'll give it to him. But yeah, this is when Zeus is like off his meds and is back in a toga. I like that that's how Kevin depicts him. Just like, what would he do? He'd wear a fucking toga.
And I love seeing his henchmen talking to him, and he's like, "No, you will refer to me as my proper name." And then just seeing the henchman cover his face, and just I like getting to see a henchman understand that he is working for an insane person.
He's like, if
Like
I didn't need the fucking money.
that was a real humanization of a henchman in that moment where he's like,
Mhm.
rent's due. This guy pays the bills. I'll call him God or whatever.
So I
Also, no, go
I
ahead,
just want to
Casey.
mention the art, the big splash page here. I gotta shit on this art for really quick. She is giving AI generated art, like where like stuff looks normal, and then there's that like when you look at it, you're like, what is going on with her shoulder arm thing?
Oh, dang, you're right.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that.
I was ready to defend Walt Flanagan, and that is weird.
Maybe she got her shoulder dislocated or something like right before
Maybe.
she ran away.
And I love the dude also in front of her because it's like he's clearly tripping balls like big time because he's just like, oh, like what is this? While
He's on
everyone
a
Yeah.
else is
4-day chuckle
screaming.
bender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, also, pretty close to this. So yeah, right after that, Joker leaves Batman a note that says, "Eat it, emo boy." And Batman gets called emo like 3 times in these two trades. I
Well,
was not expecting that.
well, it came out in 2010, right? So I mean, it's like it checks out that that would have been what
Yeah.
they were saying at the time.
It'd just be so
Yeah.
funny if Bruce Wayne was like a scene kid,
Yeah.
and he really takes offense to this.
That was Rob Pattinson.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was for
That was
sure.
our Pats.
Yeah.
He was this guy, but not as I don't know. Actually, I think the R Pats one might have fucked Joker.
All right,
Now,
so
it's
uh
always it's kind of annoying too. Like this is just one of the things I kind of looked at. It's like Onomatopoeia beats Deadshot, who's supposed to be like the second best assassin in the DC universe, but it's like Kevin Smith's like, no, this is my new character. I like him more. And then like he's like just giving it to Batman. Like, it's like, man, how did this guy lose to Green Arrow?
yeah, well, and here's the thing that we'll talk about later too. We're never gonna find out.
Oh, I got stuff to talk
Dude,
about with that too, because like I watched a video specifically for like or rewatched a video by Casually Comics where she talked about the Wayne Geyer and she's got quotes. So I'm like I vaguely remember the quotes now, so I can share that stuff with you guys.
Nice.
I forgot that all this ends on just a cliffhanger that
Yeah.
never got paid off.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it never will. It never will. Which is such
Hey,
a shame.
but my life moved on. I read this in 2012 and I'm still here. Wasn't even mad about it.
um but man, it makes so much sense. See, I didn't know anything about the like editorial or whatever telling him to cut back because you get to Widening Gyre and like it's fine, but there like I had many notes on this one. And in the next one, hardly anything. It's just Batman wants to be with this gal. So
hmm
it makes sense that they told him to cut back because we go from insanity to just Batman's looking to get out of the game. But whatever. Anyway, I also like so next we get Maxie Zeus is fine. He's back in his, apartment or whatever. He's going crazy, and his henchman's like, just calm down, Maxie. We got like 4 hookers in there for you. Everything's gonna be fine. And he's just like, yeah, yeah, okay, it is gonna be fine, and just kind of walks in there for his hookers. It's just, he's going from screen like, you will call me by my holy name. And they're like, come on, it's all right. See the hookers?
Ooh, grapes.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
I love when Batman sneaks in here, that third panel of him getting
Mhm.
choked in the surprise. It's so awesome.
it is awesome. Um, oh, where did I think I wrote down the
Well,
wrong page there.
I love too, like after Batman grabs him, he's got this serum that's just like no longer crazy, puts it in him, and then like it's like, oh, the guy's like, oh, I'm back to normal. It's like, why not use that on the Joker?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great question.
Yeah, he's just like it's like I have this magical vial that just makes all of my villains apparently sane. And then he's like, I'm gonna use it on Maxie though.
Well, is that what the Joker's on in the end when he's
I think
like
he's just
temporarily
sedated.
say he's just
Yeah,
okay,
I
he's
think
just
he's
on
just
happy
heavily
pills. Yeah.
sedated. Yeah.
Gotcha. I
Also,
love that scene of Joker and his henchmen sitting around and he's thinking and rubbing his temple with the barrel of the gun as he thinks and tells them to be quiet. He's thinking and kills everybody at the table.
it is good. That like that's the part of Joker that I really like. And it honestly it does, because I know that the final part of this would have obviously heavily involved Joker. And whenever I read scenes like that, it does make me wish that we would have gotten it so that I get more Kevin Smith Joker out of it. But uh and it's also a shame that he just kills his unnamed, disgusting looking henchman in that scene. They're taking away, Walt's time to shine. But anyway, the next scene, Onomatopoeia has a very sweet hooker come over
Hmm.
to his room. Like, she seems swell. It's like, honey, how did you get caught up in this lifestyle?
Hooker with a heart of gold.
She is.
You're
Um,
ready to pretty woman this gal. You're
yeah.
you feel like Richard Gere inside. This is
She, she sees that weird fucking mask, doesn't think anything of it. She's like, I'm down if you're down. Um,
this is the third weirdest thing she's seen lately is this guy's
yeah,
mask.
right. It's also like if Onomatopoeia's whole thing is killing like unsuperpowered heroes or whatever, why does he kill this sweet hooker?
Saw the mask probably and his real face, you know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Still a bummer though.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Next, we get some more Joker and Batman stuff. Because Joker's flying into to the bat signal. And I love his comically long revolver that he's got in his hand right before Batman just flies out of nowhere and sucker punches him again. um, but gosh, the like what is going on with this face right here up in the
Yeah,
corner?
that was one of the faces, and then also Batman's face right like at the bottom when he's got the fingers up the nose.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's really
so
fucking
funny.
funny.
That might be the worst Batman's ever looked.
Dude, it's pretty rough.
Like
Um,
when you really focus in on some of these, like if you take the
Hmm.
time, like as I was reading this, I was just kind of breezing through and having a good time. But now that you're sitting here and making me like actually critique some of this, I don't
look,
want to say anything not nice.
that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's a better artist than any of us, but I don't know if it's, at the level of being a DC comic. I mean, I know Kevin Smith basically even says he got the job because he's my friend.
Well, yeah, Walt was the guy that introduced him to comic books, and they've
Yeah.
been, good friends since they were kids and stuff. So he yeah.
And I don't think he did
Big.
anything outside of a book that Kevin wrote.
So he did, and I just
He did.
learned this today. He did like 2 other books that were, you know, non-DC, but I think that's it though.
Okay.
Because his Walt is one of the guys that was on that show Comic Book
Mhm.
Men, and throughout Kevin Smith's podcast network, Walt and his best friend had a podcast called Tell 'em Steve Dave that got very popular. So I think the comic books he got made were completely outside of anything Kevin Smith did.
Mhm.
Kevin Smith said he wrote a forward for one of them, but had nothing to do with helping him get those made.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like he
okay.
was selling books outside of that, but obviously not getting like Marvel and DC gigs.
Mhm.
Sure, sure. So Batman has some internal dialogue here on this page where he's like, it's like fighting a wind chime. How he ever got the drop on Jason, I'll never know. It's like Jason was a child. What do you mean you'll never know? It was an adult beating the shit out of a child with a crowbar. There, I solved it for you.
It's actually really easy.
Yeah, it's
It's
simple. Um,
What makes it
oh,
even funnier too is later on, the Joker gets the jump on Batman and stabs him in the fucking leg. Batman's like, "Oh, this is how it happened."
yes. So, um, where is it? What panel is it? Oh yeah. So that next page, Joker says, "You know where you can stick those fingers of yours?" It's like, oh, we're back, baby. He wants the bat finger.
like no matter how much better Widening Gyre is than this, there is still a lot of talk of holes. Like they
So many.
never they mention holes a lot, all the holes.
And Joker wants his filled by Batman. Um, yeah, and then so is it the next page or wherever you said, Casey, where Joker, yeah, it's the next issue, that
Yeah.
first page. He gets the jump on Batman. And like the whole time I'm reading this, it's so obvious the Joker's gonna stab him. It's
Mhm.
just, and Joker's not saying anything of note. It's just like, what the fuck is he talking about? And why did Batman let him stab him?
And why I always hate when, because like Batman's armor is only armor when like the plot wants it to be. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, fuck, man, he could get a bad paper cut and it'll cut right through and cut to his leg, you know? Like,
And if you look at that shard of glass and where it is inside of Batman's leg, he should be down.
mhm.
Like he's
That's
not
a
coming
meaty
back from that.
that's a meaty piece though. Look at those thighs.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a meaty thigh. Like that guy is fit. I think if I don't think any of us can relate to how
Well,
fit that thigh is. And I feel like if I had a meaty thigh like that, all my muscles are bulging, maybe I can walk away from it.
fair enough. Fair enough. I guess I was just more perplexed on how the fuck Joker got the drop on him. It's just so silly.
Yeah, he's like a wind chime. Batman should have seen him coming.
It's like fuck, Jason did. I get it now.
Oh man, I think it's funny like after Batman gets, quote, shot in the head and is laying there, and Joker's like, what the fuck? Just all of that blood is there's like so much blood. Batman definitely put a couple extra like blood capsules in there to make it
Well,
look
because
that bad.
he has to. He's such a dramatic bitch, you know?
He
Like Batman's
is.
like, he's
He
like,
is.
Alfred's like, you don't need that many blood capsules, Master Blues. He's like, yes, I do.
So many more. Like he could have given himself away at this point because he almost waterboarded himself
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
these blood
dude, for
capsules.
real.
This is a goofy amount of blood. Like this is insane. You're right.
Yeah.
That's the panel that must have gotten cut. The Alfred being like too many, sir.
Too many, sir. Oh man, I do like, so the next couple of pages when Batman's fighting Onomatopoeia and it's like lightning and raining. I like the art there. Like Batman really looks menacing standing over Onomatopoeia right there. And it's some good action sequences too.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, and the whole time you never know who Onomatopoeia is like really trying to help out, right? He's switching sides all the time. Joker thinks he's with him, then he's against him, then he's back with him, and then Onomatopoeia just stabs him in the chest. Which comes
It's like these
to
guys are untrustworthy.
I know, right? Who can
I
you trust anymore?
He gave him all that cash, didn't even want anything for it.
Yeah. And this scene produces like the biggest question in this book, which is, you know, should Batman have let him bleed out? The obvious answer is yes,
Yes,
absolutely he
sir.
should have. There shouldn't be any question. But Batman's a fucking psycho, and he's like, no, we can't. We gotta save him. It's like, why? Just let him fucking die. Um,
Especially, I mean, like the worst part too is like Jim, like the all of the cops get up there. So Batman easily could be like, here, I'm gonna get the other guy now. Instead, he's like, no, I need to hand deliver him. It's like, you
right.
don't.
Like,
It's because he
if
loves
I'm
him.
Yeah.
100%, if I'm Jim Gordon, I'm like, if you let him live, you better have sex with him when he wakes up, or this was all for nothing. Everyone's dead and you still are alone. Like, this is like such an unreasonable friend. Batman, honestly, Batman kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I would
totally does.
hate to deal with him. He's barely a good guy. He's just a really unreasonable human that can kick better than most of us.
Well, I also love how it's like Joker's been stabbed in the chest. He's dying. And then they have Batman's just hold them and they're like Gordon's just like, just let him die. Fuck it. I don't care. He's a terrible person. And Batman's just hold them like, no. And he's not going
Well,
anywhere. It's like they just sit there in silence.
really, if Gordon had just talked to him and made him converse a little longer,
Yeah.
he would have just bled out.
It's like
Gordon, this is on Gordon now for not
it's like
tricking Batman.
there is no urgency. Batman's just like, I'm just too fucking tired to chase onomatopoeia.
And I'm gonna have to carry Joker down all those
Yeah.
stairs. It's crazy because not that we need Gordon's point of view here, but he's like, remember when he like shot and paralyzed my daughter and
Yeah.
like took off all of her clothes and then took pictures of that
Batman's like, yeah, that was hot.
and beat your ward to death with a crowbar, the child. And he's just like, no, we can't let him bleed out. It pissed me off. It
Yeah.
really pissed me off.
Yeah. Like other comics do this so much better. Like this is one of those things, I mean, like it still doesn't work, but it's like better than this, where it's just like literally. I mean, there's times where like he gets dropped or something happens, or like the bad guy's trying to kill Joker too, and Batman saves him. With this, it's literally like Batman, you've watched someone die, like like you let like a something collapse and not save them, like just do it. Who cares? It's Joker.
He's got a foot in the grave already.
Yeah.
Love
So,
to.
all right, then the next one we get that was the end of that issue. And the next one we get the fucking dumbest the Joker's ever looked. And we've all seen fucking what's his name from Suicide Squad. What is his name? Why can't I think of
Jared
names
Leto.
Jared
today?
Leto.
Yes, thank
Are
you.
you having a stroke?
Yes, I am having a stroke.
You smell
Uh,
toast.
it's like,
This might
okay,
also be the dumbest Bruce Wayne's ever looked.
Yeah.
yeah,
The Jerry curl.
it's pretty
It's
bad.
what the fuck?
But
Like,
it's
what
like,
is the? How long's he been in there that he grew this Amish beard?
well, right. And also, his hair grows green, obviously. So why doesn't his beard? I get that you can have like, blonde hair and a red beard or whatever, but like I don't know. I feel like if you're dropped in a vat of acid that totally changes your skin and hair, like I don't know. It was just weird.
I can't believe he didn't address it in dialogue. It seems this Joker would absolutely tell me what color his pubes are.
It's like, I know what you're thinking. Why is it black? Right? Like that should be the first thing he says. And also, holy shit, is he the slowest reader in the world? Right?
I love the bit of him reading Ayn Rand, like, and being like, I'm reading this real knee slapper.
But for 2 trade paperbacks, he can't make it past the halfway point.
I mean, those are big books. I get it.
Yeah. It's
if
tough.
you've tried to read them, it's rough to get through.
So
well, in the second trade, he is onto a new Ayn Rand.
Oh, is
was
he
it a
doing
new?
Atlas Shrugged?
Okay.
Yeah, he's got Atlas Shrugged in the second one, and he's got
gotcha.
Fountainhead in the first one.
Gotcha. I assumed it was the same book.
Yeah, give the guy some credit.
At that point, I was kind of speed reading. My question to you guys, though, is what color do you think his pubes are? Do you like, are they black down there? Are they green?
So, I mean, I think he's all, fresh waxed every day. So I don't think he's got anything going on down there.
Okay.
But this is also another great face.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The worst dating profile picture ever.
Oh,
this is what women have to deal with on Tinder. It's just 100 of this guy.
And it says no fat chicks in the bio too, looking like that. Yeah, okay. So immediately Joker knows that that's Batman. And it's hilarious that he's like, oh, damn it, he got me. So he goes behind that curtain to change into his bat suit. It's so silly. Bruce basically tells Joker that he could do worse things than he's already done and nothing will change. Right? Like that's essentially the gist of their conversation here. And that again makes me real angry. It's like, okay, smother his ass with a pillow then. I don't get it.
I love that bit of dialogue. Is it like super far at the end of the conversation where he says, what does he say? Something along the lines of, I'm not crazy because I hate you. I don't hate you because I'm crazy. I'm crazy because I hate you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he looks fucking terrifying when he says that too. It's like maybe the scariest that he looks in both books.
Yeah. But like
the
this
beard grows 4 inches in the next panel.
Dude, I know, it's so weird.
But like this just like came off as like Kevin Smith trying to do like the end of the Killing Joke, and it's just nowhere near as good. Like when Batman has that long, combo with Joker at the very end, and Joker's just kind of like, yeah, I can't do that. And it's like it worked a lot better there than it does here for me.
I get what you mean, but this was I think one of the pros of the book for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but it's just like we've kind of seen this before.
Yeah, we have. I do like, Joker claims that he will stop once Batman's dead. Whether or not that's true, who knows, right? But I do think that it adds, well, or maybe just reinstates an interesting dynamic between the two. That I think would make Batman think, should I stop if it's worth the Joker not blowing up kids anymore? Like, I don't know. It was good dialogue. I liked it.
And then I liked Alfred's joke in the next page.
Which one was it?
So like he's like, it's because Joker goes, since we're being super truthful, I should also tell you I saw a little bit of your junk when you were getting changed before. And then Alfred goes, it's a little wonder that he caught that glimpse considering you wear your briefs on the outside of your clothes.
That was a good joke. Yeah, then we get I do like we never see Onomatopoeia's face.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the book is him returning to his family. Um, they're all just standing outside on the front porch. The mom is in rain boots for some reason, looking like total psychos, like the family Zaz was going to kill. This was probably going to be his next stop. Um, but he's just a normal dude, like sweater vest, going down to the basement to to put his onomatopoeia mask on a mannequin head, and then we see all of his trophies and what he hopes is the soon to be trophies. The one that I couldn't decide is that one on the second shelf under Green Arrow. I assumed that it would be Black Canary, maybe, because it
Oh
obviously
yeah.
says black. But doesn't she technically have powers?
Technically she does, but I think it might depend on which version too. Because I think that one that would have been in the current or in that era would have had powers, but then her mom, I don't think did. Like the Golden Age Black Canary. So maybe he's gonna go to a nursing home.
Right. Also, it's like, dude, this is really your trophy room. You killed the Ritz and Phantom Jockey. Like,
Yeah.
good job, I
Yeah. And
guess.
then it's like, oh yeah, but then Green Arrow's empty.
Yeah.
Like you tried. Shouldn't you get him before you get Batman? Like, come on.
But yeah, that was Cacophony.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, boys. What do we think, like, just in general? Usually, Garrett, when Casey and I read something, we will rate it out of 10. So give me your final thoughts on this volume and then rate it out of 10.
I mean, as a Kevin Smith fan, I'm just happy that him and his friend got to have a good time and live out a childhood dream. And I
Sure.
think that that's worth some points, right? Regardless of, wouldn't you be happy if if you got to do something cool with your friend like this that you just always
Mhm.
wanted to release
Of course.
something? That being said, it does have a couple problems. I don't know, man. Like I like that I can feel I can hear everything in Kevin Smith's voice, which not a problem for me. Could absolutely see that as a problem for others. Giving it a number out of 10, 6, 6 bad or good. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would say
I'm
like I always grade it like, going to school. So like a 6 is a D, which is like
Oh,
that's about where I'm feeling with it.
I think mine's meaner than I meant it to be then. But like when I named off good books earlier, those are closer to tens. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know what? I'm glad he had a good time. I love him. C plus.
Okay.
Let's go there.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, like
Casey?
so I had heard once that Kevin Smith, when he writes comic books and probably everything, he gets really high. And then he starts writing. He's like, "Oh, this is something I think would be cool for Batman to do," and it shows. And sometimes it's like it worked, and other times it didn't. But I'm probably at a 6 for it because I think it's fine. And just spoiler alert, I like this more than Wine and Geyer. I think
Mm.
Batman's written better in this than he is in the other one, which I'll get to. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm at, like I said, probably a 6. I think it's fine, but it's not something I would probably ever come back to.
Yeah. I don't know that I'll ever read it again either. I didn't hate it. I did laugh at several of Joker's jokes. I do think it's funny how horny he was. And then again, I think that there are highlights with how menacing his Joker can be whenever he's not like,
Hmm.
Batman, fill my holes. So yeah, I'm probably also at a 6. Definitely didn't hate it. Probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I do wish, and Garrett, I'm sorry. I know you're a Flanagan stan, but we get this fucking awesome Adam Kubert cover. And it's like,
Hmm.
if the interiors were done by Adam Kubert, I'd probably give it another point or two.
And I mean that's it's even worse with the Whiting Geyer because it's like we get to see the both covers and it's Bill Sienkiewicz and then Gene Ha and I'm
Yeah.
like, boy, I would love both of these so much.
Well, he didn't grow up with them.
That's true. That's true. All right. So yeah, on to the Widening Gyre. This one features, Robin and Nightwing a little bit more, which is always a good time. Um, at the very beginning, Bruce is talking about Dick Grayson and just what he thinks about him. And I liked that. I liked what he had to say about like Nightwing, how no matter what he's been through in his life, he always finds um, a way to keep a smile on his face. And I thought that that was pretty awesome and in character. But yeah, he goes to help Dick put down some neo-Nazi Baron Blitzkrieg, I think his name is. And then Dick's like, "Hey, while you're here, come look at this body in the morgue real quick." And we see just the grossest shit ever. I love when he's like, "Hey, just come check out this body." And like that would be a jump scare if he slid that body out at me.
Is it Dick that said, or wait, is it him that says something about like she put vines in all his holes? Or like we're all
Hmm.
ready to
Yeah,
hold.
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like page 4. Oh man. Also, I fucking love Batman's face whenever he sees the body. It's so funny.
Oh, Batman doesn't throw up enough. Like, there's like, I mean, I know he's seen everything at this point, but goddamn, like you can't be too
Yeah.
desensitized for that.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Like the parts of the skin that are peeled back, he even added little like details to that, and it's so gross. It's so
This
gross.
The violence is definitely more gruesome in this one. I mean, a few pages before this, you see Nightwing and Batman in a convenience store, and there's the clerk has gotten his head blown off with a shotgun, and I believe his brains are leaking out of his head. Like
Yeah.
it's a pretty
But
nasty book.
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's also like I'm not gonna lie, it looks like I drew the brains because it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna draw curly hair and then paint it pink.
Well, still, you can imagine how it would look.
Yeah, if you saw a guy scalped, it's real yucky.
Okay, then we immediately get Batman taking his boat over to Arkham or whatever. And I love that he's just like, I don't get to drive this boat enough anymore. I just love that that's the first sign or thing that we get. But yeah, all these fucking bugs and shit is also gross. I'm also just a huge baby when it comes to bugs. I think bugs are icky. I don't want them to touch me ever. So the thought of all these bugs splattering his windshield and shit, I'm just like, bro, I would be turning that boat right back around and going back to Wayne Manor. Like I'm not dealing with all these fucking bugs.
I like that that the vines bursting out of the man's holes. You're just like, well, I guess I'll still go. But the second the bugs are hitting the windshield, you just turn it around. This boat was overrated. I don't need to drive this actually.
Yeah, I guess that is really silly now that I hear it out loud. But yeah, so we get to Arkham, and this whole time I was thinking like, okay, yeah, based on the Vine murder, it could be Ivy, but a part of me thought that like this is so much more than she usually does, that I was kind of expecting like another new villain or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, but it's not. Turns out it is all Ivy's work. You know, Batman's walking past all these cells of people, and then we get to Joker, who's just strung up by the vines. Uh, I don't know. It's just like Joker would have said this shit even if he was just sitting on his cot
Hmm.
in a cell. You know what I mean? Like this is nothing out of the ordinary. Um, I do like how Kevin Smith wrote Two-Face here.
Hmm.
Like like he's clearly having an episode right now, but I don't know. I just kind of felt bad for him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
if only Batman had a magic syringe full of stuff that makes his villains not crazy that he could have stabbed Two-Face with, you know?
Yeah, he could go back to being the DA.
It's so much easier though to deal with the yucky bugs when you're crazy. Like
Yeah,
he's really
that's
doing him
true.
a favor right now.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I like that the Joker calls Ivy royal bitchy britches. That it's just what are you talking about, Joker? Um, but then we get to definitely the horniest that either of these books gets,
Yeah.
right?
I don't
Um,
know. There's some parts of Catwoman too where I'm like, this is horny again all over. It's like,
Bruce Wayne
was he
has
drawing this
sex
with
in
one
this
hand?
book. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
yeah, totally. We get outside of the courtyard, and Ivy is suspended on some vines. Obviously naked. There's leaves and, her hair covering bits. But it's just like, Jesus Christ, can you tone it down with like how horny this is? It's it's crazy. Like, what does
I
she say?
just
A tireless tongue and stuff like that? It's
I
like,
love though that
goddamn.
the same artist that drew this also drew the Killer Croc.
Yeah.
It's like, couldn't you put a little bit more effort in old Croc if you're gonna spend like 4 days on Poison
No,
Ivy?
he had a deadline. He had a
and
deadline, and that's what he spent it on.
it really was a situation where he realized, like, oh my God, I have been working on this for 4 days. I have 1 hour for Killer Croc.
Oh shit. Um
It was so hard to make her breasts glisten that I got caught up.
and then right before Croc shows up, I think it's safe to say that it happened. Ivy straight up is like fingering herself, suspended in the air
Hmm.
here.
Mm.
I was not expecting that at all. She was like, well, I guess I'll just finger myself here 10 feet in the air while I wait for you.
I
um,
did not remember like the horniness of either book. So the fact that you brought someone from the erotic thriller club to like maybe
yes.
the most erotic Batman comic
Yes,
is
dude.
I do appreciate it. Like I can't thank you enough.
Of
I
course.
feel at home.
um, yeah, then we get his fight with Croc. I think that like obviously writers will talk about Croc's condition. Um, but most
Insane.
it is insane. It is. But I liked it here. Most of the
Yep.
time it's just like, oh, he's just got a skin condition, or oh, he's a this killer Croc man. No, here, like they kind of explain it. And no, it doesn't make any sense, but there's an explanation at least.
Yeah.
And that
So
was
they've
cool.
never in any other book been like, this is an STD.
I don't think so.
I've
I
not
think they're
read
just
enough
like,
Killer Croc to really say, but yeah, I don't think so either.
yeah,
That's
most
a
I've read
choice.
is that it's a skin condition. So, yeah.
It's HPV, and it made him a crocodile man.
Yep.
Wear a condom, kids.
Yes.
This could be you. You could be drawn like this.
See, this
At
should be
least
in
like
every elementary school.
wear a condom. or else. Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
What happened to the teeth? So this was a man. This was a normal man who ended up with HPV and grew what, 10 to 10 feet tall?
Yeah,
That's actually kind of cool.
it
That's
is. Also, I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you see Croc just take an axe to the gut and he's like, he'll be fine. It's his skin's super thick. It's like, well, God, if that's your thing, then maybe don't wear a condom.
It'd be hilarious if like he's just dead. Like later on in the book, like, yeah, Croc's dead, dude. You fucking hit him in the stomach with an axe. What do you think was gonna
Yeah,
happen?
his skin's not that thick,
Yeah.
Bat. Come
Yeah.
on.
Batman's like, I don't know what? I didn't kill him. It's like, no, you
how
just want
devastated would he be? He'd be so hurt.
He would be, yeah.
Like that, he wouldn't. I don't even know if he could fight crime that week.
No, probably not. He'd have to go to to Silver's Island for a week to cool off. Also, Poison Ivy, who is just hanging in her bondage gear here, is like, well, fuck. Me fingering myself didn't do it. Let's see if weed will. She's like, here's a bunch of cannabis. And he's like, I know what the smell is. It's not going to work on me.
Batman's so fucking square.
Yeah.
Like this guy he just wants to not kill Joker. And well, actually in this one, I guess he's kind of cool. It's a little cool. Every lady
Yeah.
wants him, and he's
Yeah.
not like fighting that. He actually seems like he kind of has the same morals as like Morrissey, which is super lame.
Dude, okay.
But he seems like he'd be celibate.
If I walk into a courtyard and Poison Ivy is there fingering herself in front of me, I would fold like a fucking lawn chair. Right?
I don't know. Did you look at the green toenails?
No, not really.
Do you think she calls her vagina her penis flytrap?
But
Okay, I'm now looking at the green toenails. That is a little bit weird.
like actually, you're like, I am really into this, but here's some socks.
Yeah, can you put these on, please? Oh man.
Socks are kind of my thing.
And then we get this Batman can sense the THC levels decreasing. He's like, oh, she must be distracted. She's scared. It's like, how the fuck can you tell? What do you have that is detecting THC levels?
A second time in this book when somebody detects something that's crazy to me that maybe you guys can explain is when later in the book he does run into Aquaman because he touches the ocean. And Aquaman's like, I could taste Batman was in here or whatever. Like, does Aquaman like he can sense anyone anywhere in the ocean at any time? Like it just sucks into his gills?
I didn't think so. But
No,
that was a first for me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So THC levels go down and we get some just crazy panels of Etrigan, the demon, eating inmates. This is definitely like Etrigan's been drawn in many different ways over the years. This is probably the creepiest.
Yeah, wasn't a fan.
You believe this fellow wears clothes?
I
This
know.
This seems like a guy like this guy put on clothes.
And one of those clothing items is a cape.
There's a scene where he tied a cape to himself. This guy who's gnawing on this fella's leg. Jeez.
I know. And look at those little booties that he's wearing.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice those.
Yeah. So
I love when he gnaws the guy's face like an apple though.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then in the next
I wouldn't even know where to start on eating a head. Like if you handed me a head and said, where are you going to start? I don't know if I'd bite straight into the face like this or
A good point. And then in the next scene, again, like an apple, just tosses it over his shoulder. But I think that the best part about this scene is that Batman like gets super fucked up by Etrigan. And
Mhm.
really, if you think about it, he should. He should be losing a fight to a demon. And normally, like if this were to happen nowadays, Batman would win this fight because Batman is written to win any fight, which is super annoying. But Kevin doesn't do that here. Batman loses a fight to a demon, even with 3 batarangs sticking out of his fucking head. I just thought it was cool. It was a cool fight. It was cool, and then we got this panel.
Yeah. My problem is
Uh,
though, it's like Etrigan's, I mean, he's not really gonna fight Batman. I mean, like he's kind of a dick, but he's not, you know, I'm just like it's weird that this was the choice they went with.
I will say not kind of a dick. He seems like full dick.
Well,
Like
so he says this guy was like the guy he's eating, it's
that's true.
a child rapist.
Fair.
It's
Yeah.
like it's another one of those moments where I'm like, are we supposed to be upset?
That honestly, you're right. That is like in Twilight, the Cullens call themselves vegetarian because they eat deer.
Yeah.
I think this gentleman is also a vegetarian. You can have as many of them as you want. Eat them like grapes if you need to.
And then we get another great panel of Batman's swollen lip. It's so fucking funny. I love how it's drawn.
Yeah.
Um, but this is also when we get a look at another new character, Baphomet, which really I think the mask, while a little bit like long, I guess, is cool. But this guy is just it's just an all black, suit and then a cape and this mask. And he's like, I'm ready. Bring on Gotham City. um I think a weird thing about Batman's relationship to Baphomet throughout this book is just how quick to trust him he is.
Mm-hmm.
If you read any other Batman besides this one, and like he mentions to Silver later that like I've known Superman for years and still haven't shown him my face. Like that's how he is all the time. And
Yeah.
he would be tailing this guy for years before, allowing him to be back up or whatever. And in this book, he's just like, nah, fuck with that mask. I'm just gonna let him do his thing, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, because it's like that's another one of the books I was talking about where it's like Long Halloween, the whole buildup is like him like, maybe I'm gonna finally trust somebody. And it's gonna be, Harvey Dent. I'm gonna trust this guy. He's a good guy. Then like he becomes Two-Face and he's like, shit, I'm not trusting anybody ever again.
Right.
And so, like it's just like, man, it just did it better than this. Like it's trying to do the same thing and it just doesn't work as well.
This book is like, he meets a girl and then he's immediately ready to get out of the game. We've
Mm-hmm.
all had a friend that has found a significant other and their interests change very quickly.
It's
And
true.
he's just not as interested in punching anymore.
Yeah.
And he found a guy who's pretty good at punching, seems like a stand-up fella. And like you said, mask's a little long, but I think he can deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, that shit just doesn't work as well when you have, two full-grown Robins and a Batgirl waiting in the wings. Like it's one thing if it's like, oh, I don't have any of this shit, like it's like, what's Tim doing, bud?
Yeah, you gotta think Nightwing is probably like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You raised me.
I put in so many years hoping to get to upper level management. And this fucker sweeps in
Yep.
Hate it.
Then we get a fun scene of Batman stopping a child kidnapper who is just the most ridiculous fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just long hair, mustache, and a Batman yarmulke. I don't really know what that is.
I love that his name is Funland, and so I was expecting him to have an actual costume, and it's like,
Yeah,
nope.
he's not fun at all.
Yeah, it's just like this is just like most Disney adults.
Yeah, pretty bad.
He really looks like a guy who got a little too drunk at a Megadeth concert, blacked out, woke up on a roller coaster holding a child and a gun.
He's like, I'm just as confused as you are.
I want to know what his plan was too, though, because it's like, yeah, when this ride stops, there's not gonna be cops waiting for me or anything. It's like Batman should be like, let him enjoy the ride. We'll get him when he gets off.
Oh shit, that's so funny. Also, we find out that Baphomet's weapon of choice is like a 16th century French crossbow, but a 21st century trigger, he says. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, dude, what are you doing?
And that's the guy he trusts.
Yeah, that's the guy he trusts. Not the one that he raised to be a weapon. Oh man. All right, then we get a scene with Superman, and Robin is just going off about how cool Superman is, and Bruce is like, "Well, he's not that cool." It's like, come on, dude, let the kid enjoy Superman.
That's the real reason why he's like, I don't want him to take over for me. He thinks Superman's cool.
You're right. You're right. And he let the fucking guy ride the roller coaster and enjoy that, but he won't let
Yeah.
his little friend enjoy Superman.
Yeah.
God damn. Scott, you're right.
He's such a dick. But then this is where we get introduced to Silver St. Cloud. Um,
Let's get to the kissing.
let's get to the kissing. And okay, that page where we get, well, okay, I'll give it to him. She looks very nice here. It's good art. The small panels, the first and second panel, it's like he's holding a cup that's not there.
Yeah, like that's how the first one looks, and the second one kind of looks like they're kissing, and he's like, "Don't get a boner," like he's like got his hands like.
Yes, well, okay, so that was my question. Is he supposed to be kind of grabbing her ass a little bit? But then I look at that panel above and he's doing the same thing. So now it just looks like she's kissing him and he's just like, I don't
Yeah.
know, not enjoying it.
He's questioning consent. Like he's
His
like,
own consent?
no, well, consent. Like he wants to know, like, can I do this? But like, will she be okay with this?
Yeah, fair enough.
But you're right. That's
I get
weird.
that.
I don't want to defend that. That's fucking weird. I'm like, this is. I mean, for anyone watching the video, did you hold it up so that they could see that? That's bizarre.
Yeah,
That hand. That's a weird hover.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's too weird. If
The George Costanza's dad stopping short is what that is.
if Silver St. Cloud looking like that is throwing herself at you, come on, man. I think that's an open invitation.
Mhm.
He's got confidence issues. Clearly, like he's jealous of Superman.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Superman's body isn't all scarred up like his.
Yeah, he's kind of gross, isn't he?
he realized he's kind of a chud. Like $1 billion doesn't make you any more less scarred there.
um yeah, then we find out the cute little pet name she has for him, which is Dee Dee. I think that went on way too long before we got an explanation of where that came from.
Mhm.
Like
And
a
it wasn't
couple of
nearly as
issues.
cute as any of us. I think I stopped thinking that I was ever going to get an explanation.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I was like, oh, I don't need an explanation, I guess. And the one they gave me, I don't know how to feel about it. It's just kind of weird.
It is very weird. And he treats it like it's like a childhood nickname that he's a little embarrassed about. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, you haven't seen her in years and she comes out of the gate with Dee Dee. Like, shut that shit down. But he doesn't. So, whatever. He wants to see her naked. So, I guess he's going to let her call him whatever she wants. Um, yes. Then we find out about Joker killing her ex, right? Or at least chopping off his leg and arm. Did he die? I think so.
Yeah.
If he didn't, he's kind of useless.
Yeah. Certainly not going to be a senator with one arm and one leg.
And he cut him off on both the same side.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this is that's pretty awful.
That means that guy must have been walking with like one arm and one leg, like way too far out there, right? Because we see how it happens. A giant, comically large blade swinging. So
He's the
that guy,
crosswalk guy. Like, he would have had to have been in that position.
yeah, yeah.
The yellow sign, yeah.
And it's like, how do you not see that, man? This is kind of your fault.
Oh, I mean, I see that we're blaming victims now, but that
All right. Anyway, so Batman and Silver are macking on each other, and she's like, "Hey, I know you're rich, but I'm also rich, and also I have my own island. So why don't you come spend some time with me?" And he says, "Yeah, sounds great. I'll see you tomorrow." And then we get some really gross shit. Um, I forget this guy's name. Who was it?
I don't.
Cornelius Stirk.
Oh, yeah.
That's his name. Uh,
real Gollum vibes. Like, kind of like if Lon Chaney played Gollum.
yeah. Yeah, it is. That's a good comparison. And also his hair is like, you guys remember Rugrats? That
Mhm.
Angelica's little doll.
Oh,
Like
Oh,
that's the kind
yeah.
of hair that he's got going on.
this is, yeah, full Cynthia.
Yes, Cynthia, thank you. So anyway, this guy's eating hearts. There's blood all over the place. He's got roaches. Just real nasty guy. And what do we get? A fucking good old Batman sucker punch right to the side of the head, right as he's taking a sip from a ladle. I love that. And of
But
course,
even sick freak cannibals don't get killed either. You know, it's everybody deserves a shot at life.
exactly. But I love that he has to say, I hate cannibals. Okay, did it really need to be said? It's
He
like, just
really
so
fucked up.
everyone knows my stance on cannibals.
Guy was having
uh,
such a good time too. He's all smiles up until this point.
and also very polite, right? He's always calling him sir, respecting him until he goes and looks like Silver. Okay, here's the thing. Batman's like, I'm not gonna fall for his shit, and then immediately falls for his shit because the next scene he sees Baphomet and he's like, hey, watch out, this guy, and then gets fucking shit on, right? So I thought that was really funny.
that really annoyed me too, though, because it's like Batman canon has, like telepathy, shit where it's like, oh yeah, this doesn't affect me. Me and Martian Manhunter have worked this out that this will, keep this from happening. And then like we get the old cannibal, the heart-eating telepath is like, guess what? I
Maybe he's
win.
just stronger than Martian Manhunter.
That's not a thing.
This like tidy whitey, like all stained up, like that. You know what? If you do have that kind of telepathy, this is how you get to dress.
Yeah.
Do you know how comfortable he is right now? And everyone thinks he's wearing a suit.
Oh man. Then we get just a great cover to issue number 3 by
Hmm.
Bill Sinkovich. It's
Do you
like
guys remember those sexy Marvel cards that came out in the 90s, like Beach Wolverine and stuff?
Hmm.
This is like right out of that.
it is. There was one, Casey, I bet you remember. It was Namer, and he's just like wearing nothing. That dude is just a beefcake on that whole, like he got a whole page to himself. And it's like, God, they put in the work on those beach cards. Um,
Well, you had given me that oh, because it had like I think it was Thunderstrike in it. It was the
yeah,
like
the
the
summer special
beach,
one.
the whole like magazine of just the pinups.
I gotta find I gotta find
I'm
that one of Namer.
I'm looking for it too, and my search results are weird.
Yeah,
I need
after he's appeared in the movie with the big old schlong that they had to like cover up, they're
is this
probably
not
it's like
him?
no, that's him.
Oh my gosh, I have not seen that before.
Holy shit. That wait, this isn't just an AI image.
I
Is that like
I think that's the actor.
No,
I mean,
that's the I think that's the
I've
actor.
not seen it, but I remember there was controversy that people were like, "Yeah, we had to computer generate his dong to be smaller because it was too massive."
God, wouldn't that be something?
It's like if I ever do a movie, I want them to say that. It's not going to be true, but I want them to say it.
that is a great PR team.
Yeah, I was gonna pull it up, but I can't find the image now, which is such a bummer. There's another one though. I probably won't be able to find it either. It's Namer walking up out of the water, and the only thing covering his dong is a seashell. It's like whoever was working on the swimsuit specials really had a hard on for Namer.
Yeah.
But okay. So next issue, Batman's got a gag on his mouth wrapped up with Christmas lights. He's probably into it, right? Uh, while Stirk or whatever his name is sitting there eating hearts. Um, I love this page. Robin,
Hmm.
like Tim is just up in the fucking rafters watching all of this happen for a minute. He's like, nah, Bruce needs to be brought down a notch before I jump in and save him.
And
And the
this is a
funny,
guy, this is a Robin that doesn't even know he doesn't get the job yet.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
this might have
And
cost him the job actually.
and you know that Bruce knows that he's up there watching him for a second. So he's sitting there with a gag in his mouth, like, Tim, you motherfucker, get down here. I
Office pranks, man.
know, right? So yeah, Tim helps him and then, gives him trouble about his new girlfriend, which I thought was actually pretty funny because it's so funny when Robins tease him and he gets flustered. Um, but he's like, if you have any questions about the feelings that you're having, or just questions about girls in general, you can always come and ask me. Okay, sport? Like it's such a fun line out
Yeah.
of Tim. Um, yeah, I feel like the next, except for the Aquaman part, which we can talk about, but like the next half of the book is kind of just a montage of him hanging out with Silver at the island. It's really nothing that exciting or noteworthy.
Yeah, I mean, except for because like he's hanging out with Silver, and then it's like, oh well, now this is what he's doing when he's not hanging out with Silver. And then we get like Baphomet stuff. We
Yeah,
learn about that, but
true. But yeah,
Bangs in the
we
day, fights crime at night, montage, back and
yeah.
forth.
yeah, exactly. And then we get my personal favorite panel in both volumes. This face right here. What is that face?
Oh,
Huh? Goodbye, Arthur. It's like, dude, shut up. I'm glad that the Robins tease you. Like, you need it. um, let's see here. Yeah, skipping ahead because there's really nothing to talk about. Okay. We get the guy that is a Crazy Quilt that's sewing his eyes shut. I think it's Crazy Quilt.
Yeah, but we
yeah.
saw the Titan stuff. I just want to make fun of Dick Grayson really quick, the way he looks here, because he looks it's like he's supposed to be a teenager because it's Teen Titans,
Yeah.
but he looks, not teen at all.
It's
No,
a
he looks
50-year-old man at Comic-Con.
it really is. It's pretty bad.
It's like he went with current Burt Ward as his what he was designing it off of.
It's like, dude, like realistically, at what age would he be like, maybe I need pants?
Right?
You know? I don't know. Anyway, the Crazy Quilt stuff, pretty unsettling.
Yeah.
He's clearly off his rocker. I appreciate that Kevin Smith took a villain that and he talks about it like through Batman. Like, these guys aren't really villains. They just want some attention. So every few years they rob a bank or whatever. Um and Kevin Smith takes a villain like that and tries to make him like creepy and super fucked up. Which he does. He does do that. Uh he was definitely like meta writing at this point. But I liked how he did it. I was genuinely pretty creeped out with Crazy Quilt, his, bag of eyeballs, sewing his own eyes shut. I don't know. It was just
Yeah.
creepy and cool.
Yeah. No, I think that, like you're saying, that was a really high point for me. And we also got to see the War of the Gargantuans, which I love that movie. So that was kind of neat that they had that in the background in one of the spots.
Oh, where was that?
So, right.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wasn't paying attention to the signs at that point.
And I like that Baphomet just has a cooler full of water bottles and Batman pays for one.
I didn't notice that he
I
paid for it.
didn't notice that either.
Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good little subtle thing. I was like, yeah.
The only thing I noticed out of all those signs was the Booster Gold one, but that's
Yeah.
just because I noticed Booster Gold. Um,
How good is it when Baphomet takes off his mask, that panel of Batman? Immediate. Huh?
I wasn't ready for this. Also, like the whole time, I was like, is this going to be somebody we know, or is it just a new guy? So we take off the mask, and before I read further, I'm like, okay, do I know who this is? Am I supposed to know who this is? No, it's just a guy.
Yeah.
So, props to Kevin for just making new characters and not making a big deal out of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, then we get Silver being that girlfriend that's like, you're actually a really good writer. I've read all your journals. It's like, come on, you're really sitting there like all fucking night reading A939 from the bookshelf. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. And also,
I think it's weird the Batman journals.
when does he have the time?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm in a journal. I hope no one ever finds these secret journals of mine.
Well, he says it's in case I'm gone, somebody knows how to take him down. It's like, well,
Yeah.
okay, I guess, but
But do we need all of the detail?
and here's the thing, if he's spending his nights being Batman and his days with Silver here lately, that means he's not writing in his journal about the telepath that eats hearts.
Right?
Or Crazy Quilt sewing his own fucking eyeball shut. Maybe that's the stuff he should be writing down because it's fucking weird.
It's just him writing about like her boobs, like, oh, they're so big.
Alfred gets these journals he's going through. It's like, I don't know. Then there was like this 4-week break where he just keeps coming on an island. He just
The best times of his life.
he did seem happy.
He did. Also, I guess it's not in this first section, but the next one, Silver puts one of them in her bag, and then nothing comes from that.
Well, that was good. That's in the sequel. Don't worry. Well, we'll find out about that, 20 more years from now.
Yeah, totally we will. But that was like, it made me question, is there something going on with her that she's not who she says that she is, or what? And it really bugs me that that little tiny detail is never going to get touched again. All right. I like the banter between Metamorpho and Dick Grayson there whenever he's fighting with the outsiders. I thought that was pretty good. Metamorpho has like 4 different faces in these 4 panels, and that was a bit unsettling, but I did
Yeah.
like a couple of them.
And it also though, Metamorpho, like with him having weird faces, I'm like, this checks out. It's Metamorpho. It's not Batman just looking like a weirdo.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then it starts getting weird with Catwoman, right? Batman goes out because, people are eating hearts, but he's gonna go to the jewelry store that had a fucking alarm tripped. He's like, fuck, that's way more important. And Catwoman's there in an old costume, and clearly he cannot say no to that, especially when she takes off the mask and starts crying. He's like, I gotta get in this right away.
This guy with all these morals and his codes, like, what? I mean, it seems like he's pretty exclusive with this other lady.
Yeah.
She would, I don't think, love this.
No, she wouldn't. And he gets away with it for free. She never finds out about it.
Do you think he would be like, I have to tell her, it's part of who I am. Batman doesn't
Yeah.
lie. Batman's got a couple secrets. Batman's got a couple secrets.
It's like, well, maybe I won't tell her everything. But that, I don't know. A Catwoman also,
He knew
I don't.
where to put his hands this time.
Yeah, I know, right? He's not like, oh, I don't know about this. I hate how needy Catwoman's written
Oh
right
yeah.
here. Like
No,
it's bad. It's pretty
yeah.
bad.
Kevin Smith does a terrible job of writing Catwoman in this.
Yeah. I don't know.
Girl, you can do better.
Yeah, she can do way better.
Honestly, let's just look, like, he does a bad job of writing all of the lady characters in this. Really, I mean, Jasmine's fine, I guess, but Poison Ivy and Catwoman are both,
Jasmine?
whatever. The blonde girl,
Silver?
Silver.
I was like, wait a second, who the fuck's Jasmine? I don't know. I like Silver as a character in this book. I think that she kind of ruffles Bruce's feathers a bit, and makes him a little more fun. But the thing is, it's like, dude, you are willing to hang up your cowl for this girl. And as soon as Catwoman puts on that sexy little outfit you used to like, it's just, who? Silver who? I don't know. It did really bug me.
I have a wife and a child, but if Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman showed up, my first love, you
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. But instead, she's not Michelle Pfeiffer
I
Catwoman.
wouldn't do it.
She's I don't know, purple loincloth Catwoman. All right, moving on. We get some Mr. Freeze stuff. Again, I think the violence and shit is like pretty awesome when it comes to the Mr. Freeze stuff. Like there's ice spikes growing through people and they're frozen in horror as they're missing an arm and shit like that. Like it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It does get, I mean, as a Kevin Smith fan, even like it does get pretty repetitive, where it's just like new villain, this like it just, I don't know, it's just kind of the same thing over and over again for this whole middle, like you said a bit
Yeah.
ago.
It makes me wonder, I hate nowadays anytime a movie comes out and it sucks, the director's like, well, in my cut, it was a lot better. And then people are like, let's have the Snyder cut. I kind of do want the Smith cut. Like what did editorial make him leave out of this? Um, because I feel like there's no way he would have just kept it this repetitive and boring in the middle. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he would. Um, okay, then we get Baphomet and Robin hanging out. And again, Robin, who is just a mini Bruce, just can't believe that that mask is hot and he needs to take it off for a minute and it just happens to be in front of him. Uh, but then he immediately has to call Batman about it, which I don't know. If I'm Batman, I'm like, dude, I'm spending one single night away with this woman that I love. I promised her I would give her one night. But then Tim calls. He's like, hey, Baphomet took off his mask in front of me. It's like, dude, can't this wait till tomorrow?
I
I told
think,
you emergencies only.
see, I think
Yes.
Batman was probably like, no, you tell me exactly what happened. Like, Tim's probably like, dude, I can handle it. It's like, no, you're a child that I'm leaving to take care of my city. You tell me everything.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Uh, anyway, still pretty lame. But this would have been the perfect time for him to maybe tell the lady about his affair with Catwoman, right? But we don't get that. Um, I don't know. Instead, they just kind of have like a tickle fight, and then that's it. So pretty lame.
Well, she does say, what do I look like, Catwoman? And Batman's like, I wish.
She knows.
Yeah. Um, okay, so Batman goes back and Catwoman tracks him down. And she looks a lot like you know,
The
Dark
Adam West
Knight.
one.
No, 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 no. Well, yeah, but also what's her name? Jesus
Anne
Christ.
Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, thank you. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't think of a single actor's name today. Looks a lot like Anne Hathaway's Catwoman too. But anyway, Batman's like, I know that we just fucked a couple days ago, but it's got to stop now. And again, Catwoman is annoying about it. I don't know. I hate to say that, but she is. I do really like I don't even know where Joker is in this, but he's in a boat, right? And I love how Baphomet comes up out of the water and just strangles him in his straitjacket in this
Yeah.
scene. And Batman's just smiling like, that's my boy. Like, that's the happiest we've seen Batman, and he got to fuck Silver St. Cloud in this book.
uh, I
Well, then,
love
like,
that panel too where Joker has sawed off the head and the feet and switched them on the bodies.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Fuck, I
Was a,
didn't even really pay attention to that. That is crazy. Okay. Yeah, then we get Batman following Baphomet home. I guess because now he decides he needs to check up on this guy to see if he's legit, which is just weird timing. Um,
And I
and
like that
did
Batman's like
you
just hiding in a tree with no leaves. It's like,
yeah,
he'll never see me.
he's like 5 feet off the ground. With the bright green, you know.
Binoculars, eating an apple.
Yes, exactly. But we get
Did you
Baphomet's.
immediately know who he was from this panel? Like, did you like get the twist from this stuff, this part?
Nope, definitely not. Um, so yeah, so what did you think of this scene then?
I mean, it had to happen eventually, but I don't know. Like, like why? Like he had to vet him a little, but I don't know. One cry,
Yeah, I mean,
like
he doesn't even know his real name yet, you know, so he can't even do like his full like Batman looking up. It's like I just know where he lives.
Yeah,
world's greatest detective,
Yeah.
guys.
I know,
Got him.
right? It's so bad. And yeah, I don't know. I just think that this whole scene just really kind of took me out of the moment. It's like this should have happened way sooner. And also, I guess if you're thinking about a deceased loved one, you're gonna have bad days, right? Where you think of them and you get very upset about it, which is totally fine. But I don't know, the guy's just like, well, I guess you followed me home, Bats. You got me. And then is just immediately in tears in like the next panel. And it was just a weird pacing thing for me. All right. But next we get that cool Gene Ha cover that you were talking about, Casey.
Yep.
Pretty awesome. Um, Batman decides that he's going to take Silver to the Fortress of Solitude, where he had somebody craft a brand new flower named after Silver. Which I mean, really, I think what Batman does during this sequence with Silver is just way too cool for him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he creates a new flower, takes her to the fucking space, and then proposes right next to the Justice League of America table. It's like, God damn, Bruce, you pulled out all the stops on this one.
He's
um,
got one foot out the door already from this crime fighting business.
yeah,
He it took I don't know. And I think I don't know, for me, if I was with a lady and she just suddenly transport me to outer space, I'm probably throwing up. Like it's gonna throw off my whole equilibrium. Like
dude,
like
now
I
that
think
you
she
say that,
proposed to me, but I couldn't stop shitting. I don't know what it was.
now that you say that, I think it's kind of weird that he didn't do that. I mean, that seems like something that he would put in a book like this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna tell me, or if you're gonna take me to space, you tell me first. That's where
Yeah.
I need a little consent there. You
Yes.
grab my ass all you want, but you tell me if we're going to space.
It's like my nails aren't done, my pants are shit. Like these are gonna make terrible announcement photos. Um, okay. And this is where shit gets like super weird from here to the end of the book. Um, they go back to the cave with Alfred or whatever. Um, they come up with this whole plan that she's gonna stay away or at his room or whatever it is at this point and wait for him to come back. And Batman is driving in his car. He's like, man, Silver's just too good to be true. Oh my God, it is too good to be true. And he just turns around and like practically crashes their fucking car. Could have killed her and Alfred. And just fucking rips out her hair to test it right there. And he's like, oh my God, I'm just crazy, aren't I? And I'm like, yes, you fucking psycho, you are. She should be telling Alfred to drive her to the nearest airport so she can fly back to her island and never fucking talk to you again. Like that
You
scene
ever
was crazy.
you ever propose to a gal, immediately get cold feet and accuse her of being a robot?
Dude. Oh my God. It was wild. It was totally wild. And she's cool with it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's just Bruce.
That's
Bruce gone Bruce.
the man I love. Jesus. Also, I love that like he's dragging her by the hair, takes a fistful of it out of her head, and then takes some tweezers to put one hair inside of his machine. He's like, now I'll be gentle.
Look at his face in the she's a robot revelation.
Yeah.
Oh, one more huh. One more huh. It's 3 huhs so far.
Oh my God.
What an idiot. What a fucking idiot. I mean, we say idiot. I mean, he is just as sick as these men in Arkham.
Yep.
And he hates himself. And he has $1 billion. So for him.
you know. All right. So anyway, uh they have a little cry and get over it for some reason. And okay, so he and Baphomet have another team up. I love this panel where Baphomet gets stabbed in the fucking face and it's
Yeah.
just sticking out of the side. Like clearly it's in the mask and not his face, but the thought of it still cracked me up. But this is where we get the super fun scene where Baphomet's like, oh boy, he's kind of having imposter syndrome. He doesn't know if he's cut out for the job. And Batman's like, it's all right, kid. I pissed myself on the job in the early days. And if I were Baphomet, I'd be like, I don't know, man. It's not really what I needed right now. you know? It's like, why did you you could have said anything to make him feel better, and you went with that.
It actually just kind of shows that he just still doesn't know how to relate to people.
You're right.
Like that was his you should feel better story. Is I got pee on me once, and hey, it's gonna happen, man.
And Baphomet's like, yeah, you're right. I guess that's fine. Everything's fine. Okay.
I don't know. I think Kevin Smith's justification of that bit, he said something about he read that when your body hits a certain like temperature, like there you can experience something so hot that you involuntarily have piss come out or something. Like I don't know. He said he
Yeah.
read a weird fact and included that in this and didn't realize that the thing the internet was going to hate the most about this specific book was that Batman peed a little.
Right. Yeah. I really do think like anybody can latch onto that and make fun of it, but I think most people that use that have not read this book, right? There's no way. Because you don't read all that shit with him saying she's a robot and ripping out her hair and crashing the car and then being like, well, he did pee himself a little bit. Come, give me a fucking break. He's a goddamn psycho. But anyway, so we get another throwdown between Deadshot, Batman, and Baphomet. And then Catwoman's there too. And we find out, speaking of crazy people, that she hired Deadshot to try to kill her so that she could talk to Bruce one more time. As you do, right?
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been there. And he tells her that he's getting married and she finally realizes that she's better off without him and she leaves. It's like, Jesus Christ, it took you long enough. Okay.
Deadshot and Baphomet doing the nice outfit thing is
Yeah.
pretty good little
little
bit.
It was. And Deadshot offering to give Batman a hug was pretty funny. His I don't know if it was like this in just my book, but his face gets redder after he's asked if he needs a hug.
Didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it's like, I don't know, that made him extra angry.
No, it made him blush. He's like, oh, I could get a hug.
All right. And then the next page, we get another great piece of art, which is Calendar Man looking like that, like,
Hmm.
"Oh," like he just
Naturally,
saw
my favorite villain.
Calendar Man, of course. I mean, look at that costume. Um,
Finally, somebody does puke in this, and it's Calendar Man. All the vomiting I've been requesting this whole book finally happens right at the end.
I like how he says, "I'm happy to report." Like, I don't know. He could have said anything in regards to puking back there, but all right. So Batman and Baphomet are taking Calendar Man to Arkham. You know, he Calendar Man is on the same level as the fucking Joker, I guess. And I like the little bit between Baphomet and Joker. Like Joker scared the shit out of him. Probably made him think, maybe I'm not cut out for this if I gotta run into someone like that. Um, and then Batman does the really fucking weird thing of, let's go back to my house. Here's my face. I'm Bruce Wayne, and here's the woman I'm gonna love. I know I've only known you for 2 weeks,
And
but
I don't even know your name.
I don't know your name, but here's me and my betrothed. The end. um, yeah, and then Onomatopoeia shows up and slits Silver's throat. And it says end of volume 1, and that's it. We never got anything else after this.
Well, yeah, Onomatopoeia is the guy. He's Baphomet. Pulls the mask off. He's
Hmm.
Baphomet. Slices the throat, and credits. That
Yeah, yeah. It's
it's quite the final panel.
Hmm.
Like it's
no, it totally
actually
is.
like this would have sold me another book. Like regardless of how you felt, I feel like you'd want to see like, well, Batman's got to do something. He's like, at least he confirms she's not a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. Um,
So Casey, you liked this one less.
Yes. I didn't like how Batman was written in this one. He did not like that. The other one, I'm like, there's parts where I'm like, he at least feels like Batman. And this one, there's like, I'm like, Batman wouldn't do most of this shit.
I think that's super fair. Is he normally this weird? Like
I mean,
Batman's a kind of a weird guy, but like in this he seems exceptionally weird.
yeah.
no, he is. He'll do stupid shit or like be terrible to a Robin, but it's written. I really don't want this to just me shitting on Kevin Smith because I like Kevin Smith. I just don't think he can write Batman very well.
I mean, so just to get to some of the quotes that I was like talking about today, he has said, he's like, I don't think I could write a Batman story. I could write him in Green Arrow, but I don't think I could write him in, this. I think he might have been a little bit pressured to do this book. I think it was more of a book for Walter than it was for Kevin Smith type of thing. That's how it sounds from the stuff Kevin was saying.
Yeah, fair enough. I
Because
mean,
he was just like, I'm just too big of a Batman fan to write Batman. I'm like, oh, this shows, bud.
well, I mean, Jesus, if it would be hard to turn down writing Batman, but I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't want to touch that character. Are you kidding
Hmm.
me? Like that's way too much pressure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I like Kevin Smith and his writing and his comics. I like his Daredevil. I really like his Green Arrow. But yeah, this he makes Batman weird, but then doesn't explain why or how as well as someone else would, I think. So, but I do agree with you that it was a hell of a cliffhanger, and I absolutely would read a third volume if it were out there.
Hmm.
So, um, Casey, what would you grade this then? If the first one was a 6, where you at on this one?
I'm probably at a 4. Like I said, it was harder for me to get through. And since we're talking about sequels, allegedly he has, I think, 3 issues done, and the editor like of his original first drafts and the editorial notes. He's like, yeah, they're in my suitcase. So I don't know if he ever went back to him after those editorial notes to redo it. But yeah, it's like I got the art done. We had the art and pages for it and all this other stuff, but it's like right as this book came out was New 52
Mhm.
when that was starting. So it's like DC editorial mess, and then also Kevin Smith is notorious for taking, you know, like Jeff Johns' amount of time to write stuff. So it, doesn't just doesn't work out, I don't think.
Because that was the case with the Daredevil book as well, right? Where it was just like months between issues.
Yeah.
Probably. I never got to read his Daredevil, but I'm betting it's good.
Yeah. I could see, I could 100% see DC coming out and saying Kevin Smith's going to finish it. We're doing it under
Hmm.
Black Label,
Yep.
you know, and they would build it up in advertising in the comics for months, and I think it would sell gangbusters. I really do.
I agree.
It's just whether or not they'll do it. Because when the New 52 came out, they put all their eggs in that one basket, and that did not work. But
Yeah.
now, with their different imprints, I think that this book could come out if he ever actually did finish it.
And it sounded too like in some of the interviews that I saw it was like it sounds like he's kind of like because he's a sensitive guy and he's kind of upset that people were more critical of this one and like Batman peeing himself, that he's kind of like less interested in doing another one because people weren't as nice about that one as they were the first one.
Oh, and they would be way more mean about it now. Like
Hmm.
like Twitter would eat him alive, even if it were good,
Yeah.
you know? They
Hmm.
would hate on it just to hate on it. So
100%.
yeah, I if Cacophony was a 6, I think this would either be a 6.5 or a 7 because and not for necessarily the right reasons. Him being so fucking crazy with Silver at the end made me laugh out loud. Like
Hmm.
I read this last night. My wife's asleep next to me in the bed, and I'm reading this like giggling, like trying not to shake with laughter and wake her up because I just thought it was so fucking funny and stupid. Um, and then I think that cliffhanger was a 10 out of 10 cliffhanger.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think I did like it just a little bit more than Cacophony.
I think I'm with you on that. Like with if I gave the other one a 6, this one is I would go 7. I think the artwork is a little there's some crazier moments as far as the
Hmm.
artwork in this
Yeah.
one. It's a little more fun to look at
Yes.
as far as the art goes and what Walt did. But I think you're right. Like I think sometimes something can be a 10 out of 10 really good, but if something brings me a certain level of joy, like I still think mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if we're, goofing on it and laughing at Batman thinking his fiance is a robot, that's hilarious. I haven't seen another Batman book do that. So I don't know. I had a good time reading them. I don't think they're certainly not even close to the best Batman books out there, but I think a fun try of just like a one-off or two-off thing he did, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to go in knowing that it's not finished too. And some people can't do that or won't do that. I've heard plenty of customers say they've never read it and won't because it's finished. Um, but it is what it is. So yeah, Garrett, I appreciate you coming on and talking about these books. I didn't want to ask any questions beforehand because I just wanted to hear your thoughts as we were doing this. I wasn't sure if your love of Kevin Smith would make you really like these books, or I just didn't know what to expect out of it, I guess. But I thought it was good conversation. It was funny conversation. So I hope that you had a good time revisiting them to talk about
No, these were super fun to talk about. I'm glad you guys brought me on for this because honestly, I don't know if I would have ever picked these up again.
it.
And rereading them now, they're so much funnier than I remember them being.
Yeah.
Like even the serious moments, I don't know. It was a fun revisit. Like you said, I don't think I'm going to revisit it again in another 10 years unless you call me back in for
The
another
10-year
one.
anniversary.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it from us. Hopefully, if you guys have read this book, let us know in the comments if you liked it or not, what you did or didn't like about it. Um, do you want a part three? Would you read a part three?
Have you ever peed your pants?
Have you ever peed your pants? Lot of questions out there.
Yeah.
So, um, Garrett, what are you up to? Creatively, where can the folks find you? Plug whatever you'd like to.
Yeah, I have two podcasts. One is Predetermined a Pro Wrestling Hangout. I don't read a ton of comics anymore because pro wrestling is my comics. I get it from that. And I think the fact that on this show I've said erotic thrillers, pro wrestling, and huge Kevin Smith fan. A lot of red flags. I think I am actually that photo of Joker that is the Tinder profile picture. Don't swipe right. You've made a mistake. But no, Predetermined, Erotic Thriller Club. On that one, we answer the most three important questions about erotic thrillers. Was I aroused? Was I thrilled? And would I ruin my life for this person? We have a lot of fun with that. We're like, Predetermined's been going for like 6 years or something, maybe longer. I don't remember. This one we're like 21 episodes in. It drops every other Wednesday. Uh, Check them out. They're on all the podcast places.
I don't know anything about pro wrestling, but I listen to all of the erotic thriller clubs, and it's just a joy. I'm always laughing at what's going on in them. That one's super fun. Even if you guys don't watch erotic thrillers, you can still get something out of it. So definitely check it out.
Appreciate that.
All right, Casey, anything to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're good, man.
All right, we will include Garrett's socials in the post so that you guys can find the stuff that he's talking about. And we'd love to stay in chat, but we don't like our jobs and we're gonna close up early and go to a hockey game. So we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Later.